Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Wedding. We have our first female guest with us today. Uh, yes, girls love cricket too. Sofia
Clearly.
Mathew is with us. Sofia, how do you feel to be the first female guest in this not so famous, not so established podcast?
It's a little nerve-wracking because I'm just like, okay, all the guys are going to be like, oh, what's this girl going to say? How much does she know about cricket? But no, I'm just kidding. I'm actually really excited to be part of this conversation because right now I feel like IPL is the only one major thing that's like really fun this year compared to everything else that's been happening. And I was really happy that it didn't get cancelled like so many other things has been getting cancelled.
Yeah.
Super excited.
Yeah, sure. 2020 has definitely been super bad, but this IPL has been, I think, probably the best, if among the best, definitely, if not the best that we've had. Teams are much closer and all that, but we'll get to the IPL later. This girl being crazy about cricket is something that boys don't generally understand. So when did this craze start? How old were you? How did it begin?
So I was always, it's not just cricket. The thing is, I mean, I like watching sports in general. Like, I don't know, I don't have a particular reason, like even football, like I get really into it. Like, even if I'm just watching, like if I'm watching a country play or if I'm watching my friends play, I seriously get into it. Like, I don't know, there's something about it that makes me very competitive, though even if I'm not playing. Maybe I'm a little competitive in nature, so maybe that aspect of sport really gets to me. Okay. But in all true honesty, like I have not been I've been watching cricket so intensely only in the past like couple of years, because before that, like I was in college and hostels and stuff like that, and we didn't have there was no TV access over there, and I think streaming was also something that picked up in the past couple of years. So I didn't have, it was more like I'm Googling the scores and stuff like that. Oh, okay, this is happening. Yeah. But the intense, these are the players. I wouldn't say that I've been watching that for the past 10, 15 years. That's not been happening. It's only been happening in the past 5 years, let's say.
Okay.
But I've every time I watch the sport, I'd be super into it, even if I don't know who exactly is playing. I'm just okay. If it's India, then I'm just rooting for them. So okay. I wouldn't say I was a cricket aficionado in that sense. It was more the entertaining aspect of the game was more important to me then. I can see a clear difference how I am now and then how I was then. Okay. The only thing is I love the sport even then. I love it even now. So okay.
Are you also one of those people who grew up watching Sachin?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think there would be no Indian, though I was an NRI, I was in Doha for most of my life. I don't think any Indian kid could have escaped how the greats of cricket. So yeah. Definitely. So my mom and her brothers were super cricket fans. So okay. Every time we'd come to Kerala for vacation and stuff, they'd sit and watch, and I still remember my uncle doing the bowling action inside the house, and then and then they're just so into it. So I think that has had a huge influence on me, because I was really close to my mom's brother. Okay. So I think that must have been one of the major reasons I got into cricket.
Okay. Do you play as well? Have you ever played cricket?
So, the only sport that I say that I can play is table tennis. Cricket, okay. Just for fun, I played with kids around, under the apartment or around the house and stuff like that. Yeah. And I played a little bit of football as well, but then my first official goal was a self goal, so that was not great. But yeah, but then I still enjoy the game. So cricket and football, 2 games I probably watch, but I don't really play well. But I'd like to play just to have fun.
Okay. So you said you've been watching religiously the last 5 years. So and you were in college and you started working at that time. So when you're around friends and when the other, the boys working with you find out that you follow cricket as much as they do, does that shock them, or how their reactions, and how is your response to that shock?
Okay. Yeah. So the fact that I support a team doesn't really shock anyone, because women and men support like especially if it's IPL or even India in like world cricket or otherwise also like lot of people support. So the surprise comes when I know more about like everyone's like when I know about the styles or who's good against what, and that sort of thing is what generates a little. It's not like they think that, oh, women can't do it. It's not that sort of thing. It's just a little bit of like pleasant surprise sort of, because nowadays I think there are a lot of women also who get into the nitty gritties of stuff.
Sure.
Maybe not as much as in number as the guys, but I think so people are getting more used to the whole and with the whole like Dream 11 concept also coming in, like now a lot of people are more involved in it.
Yeah.
But it's like a pleasant surprise, and then we get down into arguing, and then they really like they're like, okay, we can share this information with, and they try to indoctrinate me into like if I was at the border about like right now I'm like very strong about who I support, but there was a time I was like like there, and I knew a lot about cricket at that time, and so I used to have a lot of people trying to indoctrinate me into their teams, like, hey, this is why you should support this team. So so I think that was like a lot of fun though.
So I mean that obviously brings us to your T-shirt.
And seriously, no one indoctrinated me. You can see that, because if I was indoctrinated, I would be in some other team.
I know. I mean, because you can probably count the number of Rajasthan Royals fans in your fingers, because there aren't too many, especially over the years. I mean, now it's definitely a much stronger team. Of course, 2008 they won, being underdogs and all that. But since then, I personally don't know many Rajasthan Royals fans. Of course, this year a much stronger team. So why did this Rajasthan craze start?
Okay, so to be honest, like in that time, I said I was on the ledge about who I'll support, etc. It was like I used to like favor CSK at that time, but I won't say support because I wasn't at the level. Like it was mainly because of Dhoni. There was no other reason. At that time, I didn't analyze cricket so much as I would think that I analyze now. But it was more about the entertainment aspect and the way he used to come and so calm, so cool, and then achieve any target that was like, and it was which you would consider impossible at that stage. So that sort of entertainment was like the reason I supported CSK, and it was an easy thing to support because they were doing really well as well. I mean, they've always been one of the contenders, like if you think of IPL.
Correct.
But then this is like I think many people who support RR, if they are from Kerala, there could be a reason is Sanju Samson. Yeah, I think that's a very common reason most people have, because also for me, I have a strong connection to Trivandrum. So like it's from where my mom is from. So then like when you hear that someone from Trivandrum, and like you're not seeing a whole lot of Malayali cricketers also.
Correct.
So it's like it's really great, and then this person comes and he touches the the ball and it flies like out of the stadium. So that's like something like I think that was the reason RR was always on my watch list. Like they were this like team who was like like they had the talent but they didn't know what they were doing, and I'm just like I have a huge thing for supporting the underdogs. Because I feel like when they win, that brings a lot of joy.
It's
like
means so much more.
So I would classify my love as like before the ban and after the ban, because before the ban it was CSK, but like RR was on my radar. Like I was like, oh, this team is like really interesting.
Srishant also was Rajasthan Royals at that point in time.
Sorry, what?
Srishant also was Rajasthan Royals at that point in time.
Yes. He was. So I was like, okay, like this team is. Then they both got banned, and I'm like, now who do I support? Like, So and then when they came back, and then I think 2018 was the changing. Like those, and it's funny because CSK won that, and like it was like the changing point for my support as well. Because I was like, and I loved Rahane. He was someone like I was super into as well, because such a stylish player. I know. I mean, there's a huge up and down in his career, but like when I've seen him at his best, there was nothing like that sort of so,
he was, I mean, definitely one of the most underrated players, but who did you support the 2 years that CSK and Rajasthan didn't play?
So I didn't really support anyone. I just used to watch IPL at that time. Like I was more like, okay, like what's happening? Like I was
Okay.
so into these two teams, and then they're not playing. So I think there was Pune Super Giants at that time, right?
Yeah, Rising
Uh,
Tewatia Super Giants.
Not that I didn't support them, but I think Dhoni was playing for them.
Dhoni was
I
playing
don't
for them.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, this weird team. I was just supporting.
Yeah.
So I was just biding my time for waiting for CSK to come back.
Okay.
But but then when 2018 started and I was like watching RR play, and when matches with CSK came, I was like really torn. Like
Yeah.
I was like, what am I supposed to do in this? And then I think I realized that I was definitely supporting RR. So I was like, okay, it's time now.
Okay.
And then I read a lot more about so I was like, okay, it's time to know like why, like what is this team all about? And it was good to see that they were they like the diamonds in the rough concept. Like they look for those people who we're not very like wow in like or known, but then they find these players who are like amazing. I think Yusuf Pathan or some like people like that gained fame through RR. I'm sure a lot of teams nowadays, there's so many young players, it's like brilliant. Like the 18-year-old, 19-year-old people doing things like this, you're just like stunned. But so that was something I definitely liked. I mean, like also Karthik Tyagi now is like my all-time favorite because such a young player doing so well.
Wow. Okay.
In this season especially because he's coming into like a team where he's playing like this, and then the people who he's playing against like ABD and stuff like that, and he's playing with that sort of confidence, like he's gonna get them out, and that's really great. Like that's and the fact that he's getting the chance to play as well.
True. I mean, I love his run up too. It's not the typical run up. He has that charging in kind of like a Brett Lee or So he's got that character personality as well. But talking about diamonds in the rough, we and Rajasthan Royals, we obviously have to talk about Rahul Tewatia.
Of course.
Did you know much about him? What did you feel when they were playing against Kings 11? Yeah, when they were playing against Kings 11, I think you had scored like some 100 runs in the first 8 overs when Sanju and Smith were batting. And then they got, I think Smith got out, right? Smith got out and Tewatia came in and he scored like some 10 runs of 20 balls.
Oh, it was really bad. I mean, this was my, brings me back to what I was talking to you about earlier. So when the match gets tense, I shift to my phone from the TV. Okay. So I could see the comments. So like he was hitting, like there were dot balls and there was like, at this time when we could not afford any dot balls at all. Like it was like we needed the run rate to go up, and he was taking so much time. And I was watching the Hotstar comments, and it was so bad. It was so bad. I was like, oh god. Honestly, I didn't feel angry at him. RR has an Instagram page, so they share a lot of their practice sessions and things like that.
Oh, okay.
With the team.
So you knew that he was capable of hitting.
Yeah, so in the nets, he was actually hitting. He was hitting a lot of sixes. Okay. That doesn't necessarily mean that will translate, but I mean, I could understand why they chose to take the risk.
Oh, okay.
But I thought maybe, but even I doubted him. I was like, maybe he's not ready for it, or maybe he should have been a little lower down, or something of that sort.
Okay.
But I was more feeling bad for him than angry at him, and I was like just feeling upset altogether that oh shit, we're gonna lose. Okay. So then it was literally like the low point, and then it just shot like oh god, there we go again.
Ouch.
Second, I think
that's okay. We just had her phone flying out of her hands because of the excitement for towards.
Am I back?
Yes, you're back. Hi. Yeah, I know Tewatia does things like that you can't explain. I know.
Yeah, so that was really great, and I mean, I think like the feeling when everyone's against you, that like people are just you can that feeling of like dread, I don't know, and then coming back from that sort of willpower is like insane.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, I mean, because even if when somebody goes to give a speech in front of like 100 people and they mess up the first few lines, it almost 90% of the times they're going to make a fool of themselves and come out. Yeah. And this guy had literally millions of people watching him from all over the world, and he knew that. And like honestly, so I hadn't seen that he was capable of hitting and all this Rajasthan Royals thing. So and Peterson on commentary, like when he was the one on the box, I think, and he said, I don't think this guy is even capable of clearing the 30-yard circle. So
yeah, because everyone's saying like, everyone's like, let him just get out, let him just get out.
yeah,
So that is what everyone was like hoping for. They're saying, why is he staying on when he can't hit a bat? Like, he can't connect the bat with the ball.
correct.
Yeah.
Did you scream? Did you scream after the match when those?
I was. It was, so this is what RR does to you. Like they first they make you believe like, yes, this is ours.
Yeah.
Then we lose a lot of wickets, and then we're like, okay, this is so not us. This is just the same old story. And then you're just like giving up hope, and you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna watch because you're a true fan, and I'm not gonna shut off the TV.
Yeah.
Then you're just like, yeah, okay, just get it over with, whatever. And then they perform. And that is, you can't imagine the type of roller coaster that is. I mean, I know there are so many matches which are like, like that come so close, which is great thrillers. But the fact that, you go down so low down the order and then they play from there, that's, I don't know, that's insane.
Yeah. I think there was another game also he won, right? Tewatia and Riyan Parag together won.
I think that was against SRH, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yes. This Priyam Garg dropped. Yeah, Bihu dance after that. And confrontation also. I think there was some words said with Khalid and all that. So Tewatia is
I think Tewatia may be a little hot-headed. I'm not sure about that. Like, like he's I think it's that.
But all love for him, right? You absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, someone who can play like that, I mean, he deserves everything that good that comes to him.
True. What about your captain and like your 4 foreign players who are like probably the best foreign players playing in the tournament? Steve Smith, Josh Butler, Ben Stokes, Jofra Archer. What are your emotions towards 4 of them?
Yeah, I mean, definitely they're like the big guns, like and then I mean they are good in like their country teams as well. They're regarded as like one of the best. So Smith, I mean, he's been having some issues to find his ground. So that's why even though we lost the previous match, I was happy to see that he was getting out on 5s and 4s and stuff, and which was not expected from him at all.
Correct.
So I was really happy to see him finding his ground and like able. I think one thing like though it was a loss. There was a lot of issues in the batting order, like who should go first. Now Stokes is opening, and which is very like unorthodox.
Correct.
So I think like moving Uttapa to the front and then playing from there, I think that was really great. Like in that sense. So I guess some wins on that front.
Yeah.
And Smith playing well, and Sanju is like he's the epitome of RR. He's just like he'll make you so happy initially. And then like like what happens, Sanju? So though I think he was saying that he's worked on his fitness a lot this year, and he's really like and that shows as well. But so Smith is a good captain. I don't think there's anything in that count. It's just about him finding his ground in and just scoring runs.
And Butler and Stokes.
Yeah, I mean Stokes, I think is like everyone considers him as like the best all-rounder there is right now, I think.
Correct.
So I mean, no complaints on his. I mean, he bowls well, he bats well, and he's. I mean, there's no complaints about Smith or Butler. I mean, they're pretty good. Like, and it's great to see all the camaraderie between the Indian guys and these foreign players, and that's another thing which I think I feel it's there's a lot of respect going around, which is good.
I mean, the world definitely becomes a much smaller place because of the IPL and now with so many tournaments happening. Archer. I mean, we definitely have to talk about
Archer.
He's the one person who has not let you down any match so far. So
no. I mean, consistency is not. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, he's super young and he's just. I mean, it'll be super scary even for an AB de Villiers or a Virat Kohli to face Jofra Archer because they know what he's capable. And he's so scary looking also when he charges into ball.
I just want to ask him one question, like, how does he bowl with that chain on his neck? Like,
yeah,
I don't get it. That looks like it weighs a ton.
yeah,
Like, I'm just like, yeah. So
yeah,
with that, he bowls really well. So I'm just like super impressed. And those sort of speeds, and
yeah.
it's great. But like talking about like, so even though I'm an RR fan any day, I'm
Uh-huh.
always left impressed with like when other teams also, like when they're these players who stand out from other teams. And I think Not K, if I'm saying his name right,
Yeah, yeah,
Not K.
correct. Not
Yeah,
yeah,
so he registered some like what like amazing speed, like 155 or something. I was like, what
yeah,
is this? So
yeah.
yeah, and like even Kagiso, Rabada. So these people, like, Rabada, Archer, like
Huh.
these, yeah. So it's good to have, because our bowling, I think people would say, and even though they have been doing really well
Hmm.
past few games, like I guess the batting has been the big gun, and the bowling has like been heavily reliant on Archer.
Okay.
But now Tyagi stepping up, that's changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course. I mean, it's great to have Archer. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
the team really puts a lot of pressure on him, which is not always fair. But
Correct.
he's like he's
Part of the job.
he's
I
much
mean,
needed.
if you're
Yeah,
Archer and
definitely.
if you're Steve Smith, you don't expect to play without pressure every time you
Yeah,
step on.
definitely.
But I mean, to summarize this Rajasthan Royals journey, do you see them going ahead and qualifying and maybe trying to steal one more title this year?
See, right now how it's going, it's not promising, right? But that being said, this is basically RR.
Yeah.
So if they're gonna do a RR versus Kings 11 on the whole IPL, then anything is possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just hope, like, whatever it is, they figure out. They have a great team, and you just don't know why it doesn't work sometimes. So it's if they figure that out at least, then that'll be good.
Okay. I think this is the longest I've spoken about Rajasthan Royals to anybody, because, like I said, very few Rajasthan Royals fans. So it's amazing that you support a team that is not popular and that is not the preferred choice for many people, and you understand so much about the game. That's really cool to see, and the passion obviously shows. So leaving Rajasthan, moving on to women's cricket. Is that something you follow as well? Do you have any?
No, so I have to be like brutally honest about this. Like, and it's something that I actually feel bad about, that I do not follow women's cricket enough.
Okay.
It's mainly because I'm used to following men's cricket, and now I just don't have the time. But it's something that I feel like every time I'm like reading ESPN or Cricinfo or one of those things, I'm just thinking like, this is something that I should
have you
slowly
seen any of the
move
games?
towards.
I mean, of course.
No, I have not seen a single game.
Okay. Do you know the name of any single player?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the thing. Like, you're so like obsessed with one, like, and how cricket is mainly dominated by the male side. But now I know that the women's team is doing like reasonably well, but I don't know any details about the team as such.
I mean, it's got to do with a lot to do with media and marketing too. I mean, it's not as linear as like you would say in a corporate environment, because men's cricket has the history and so much emotions to it. But like you said, there are a lot of young girls playing very well.
Status quo, right? It's the status quo. Like, everyone's into that, but I think the shift is happening very slowly. Though people like you might be realizing that more than someone like me.
Yeah.
Because you're into cricket on a full-time basis, and for me, it's just a part of my life, right?
Yeah.
So, but this is something definitely I keep thinking about. Like, I have to sort of. At least I want to know how they're doing, and the players, in the team, that they deserve that to start with, and then take it from there, because you can't force your love for anything.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
But then
it has to come from within, but I think now they are, like you said, they are performing. They reached the final of the 50-over World Cup a couple of years back. They in March, I think they played the T20 World Cup final against Australia, and it was a full stadium. Some 80,000 people had come to watch the match. Unfortunately, we didn't win any of those yet, but the team is drastically improved since that that 2017 World Cup final. So much more recognition, and yeah, like you said, we hopefully, I mean, nothing's going to be like the Indian men's team, but obviously they'll grow much more closer to all of our hearts in the coming
Yeah,
years.
I think it will be much more status quo, like as more and more people, start
Sure.
shift, like at least being aware, like of how the team is performing, which
Yeah.
makes sense.
Right. Who's your favorite player, playing now or of all time?
So of all, so like I said, my cricket love doesn't. I mean, I can be honest about this. Doesn't span a whole lot of years.
Correct.
I would
Yeah.
basically give the intensity to these 5 years, and I'd say I was, I loved. I mean, I loved Bumrah. Like he was someone I was like super impressed by the way he bowls, the run up, everything. So
Yeah.
I think he's definitely one of my top players.
Okay.
And is still the top player. But I mean, I'd like to say Sanju Samson stuff, but the thing is, consistency, and you don't get to see him play that much,
Sure.
other than like IPL. So
Yeah.
I have a couple of people. I can't really pick one, but
Okay.
I guess if I had to, I'd pick Bumrah. Yeah.
Have you listened to podcasts where they are speaking or just press conferences? Have you seen anything from the mental aspect of any of the players, in this 5 years that you've keenly followed the game?
You mean like how their journey has been, and like what sort of challenges they're facing?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah, I mean the human side of them beyond their batting and
yeah,
bowling.
that's why I love the Rajasthan Royals Instagram page.
Okay.
So I mean, that's something I closely follow, and they do a lot of off the cuff sort of talking, and they ask them a lot of hard questions. Like they asked Tewatia, like, what did you feel like when you were like doing, like, basically all the balls were going past, and what, so, and just them training, and just to see them train is also like something really nice, because these are people that you are watching, and you don't know them as people, but it's good to see, like you said, the human side of their lives, in a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I think Joss Butler's wife was doing yoga with David Miller.
Right.
These sort of things are also like, it's cute. Like you get to know a little bit more about your players that way. So that's always nice.
You also connect with them because you understand. So, like I said, I used to think that these cricketers are like Superman and Spider-Man. But
like they're there. Like,
when you see the human side of it, you feel, oh, okay, he's also somebody like me. He also has his fears. He also has his doubts, and they also have their happiness and their victories. And so
definitely,
I think, like you said, Instagram and social media now definitely is bringing us much closer to our cricketing heroes than ever before.
Sorry.
What is one lesson that you've learned from cricket?
I mean, I think this would be probably something a lot of people say, but the perseverance and basically when there's no one who might believe in you at one point. Like if you believe in yourself, then that is kind of enough.
Yeah.
And then subsequently other people might and believe in you as well. So I think that's I think that's like a Tewatia thing right now, but I think that's something that's been epitomized through cricket throughout the ages. Like the belief in yourself, when your fitness may be wavering or something else might not be working for you, to come back from all that. I think that's a life lesson that you can apply anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, so sports definitely. I mean, I've been very academic oriented when I was growing up, and now I've been a lot into sports, and I understand that sports actually teaches you so much more about everyday. That's why this is one of my favorite questions to ask whoever comes in. And like you said, perseverance. I mean, so you're preparing for a test now, or you have a submission to make. Just that confidence in yourself. Though we're just saying it, the amplitude and the significance of these concepts are just so much more, and cricket reinforces it every time. And of course, the joy of, like you said, the roller coaster emotion of being a Rajasthan Royals fan
Yeah, I don't think anything can evoke that. I mean,
Correct.
that sort of, yeah.
And it feels very personal too. I mean, it just feels that you're also, going through that phase because of the kind of support that you have for the team. So,
Definitely.
yeah. So that's very cool. I mean, I'm so happy to see that that we could have you as our first female guest in our Let's Talk Batting podcast. Any closing comments before we leave you?
No, I mean, that's it. I mean, you can clearly see how enthusiastic I was. I knocked down my phone. It was crazy, but I think it was a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best of luck to Rajasthan Royals. I really hope they come and meet us in the finals.
I'm not going to give that to Mumbai Indians because they don't need any luck right now.
Yeah, we don't need it.
No, but yeah, I mean, definitely. Yeah. It's going to be fun no matter what happens.
Yeah. I mean, so the two teams I don't want Mumbai Indians to face in the final is Rajasthan Royals and Royal Challengers Bangalore. Because you guys have those players who can single-handedly take away the game. Because any other team, I think we're just going to
unpredictable people. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't want Butler to score. Butler to have one of his days. It doesn't matter whether Bumrah is bowling at his best. If Butler is having his day, then it single-handedly scores some 150 and they'll score like 280 and Mumbai Indians would lose the title.
Yeah,
like,
and with Tewatia, you never know.
With Tewatia, of course. Oh yeah. Yeah. So all that. Thank you so much for being here, and this was a lot of fun. And
thank you for having me.
And we'll try and do this again sometime. Okay.
Sure. Bye.